And welcome to TalkFCB, and welcome back here to the channel, guys. What is an absolutely packed Barça news roundup coming up for you today? We are going to be discussing Emerson, we're going to be discussing Jean-Claude Todibo, along with a look ahead to a really exciting future of Barcelona with one of the best front covers I've seen in a long time in the Spanish media. We're also going to be talking about Barça V's final tomorrow, but first, I really have to discuss this news here about Marc-André Ter Stegen. Let's do it. Because it has been reported now for quite some time that Ter Stegen has sort of been nursing a problem. He's had a little bit of thigh trouble right the way through the season. It's nothing too crazy, it's nothing too serious. And basically Barcelona and Ter Stegen have been closely monitoring the problem, and he was basically hoping to get to the end of the season, play in Euro 2020 with Germany, and then perhaps after that had taken place, he would have had surgery just to sort out the problem. Obviously now, Euro 2020 is not going to be happening this summer, so it is on the table, according to that Ter Stegen, at the end of the season, will go through surgery to get this problem sorted out. Barcelona, obviously, are very keen to avoid a Samuel Umtiti situation whereby you keep putting off surgery and you keep putting off surgery, and before long, the problem becomes something that you can't really control, and we have to avoid that, of course, with Marc-André Ter Stegen. But what I do want to say on this is that at the end of the season, of course, there is going to be a much shorter window than usual. We're not going to have a few months break. It's going to be the end of the Champions League in August, and then we're going to be back in action at the start of September. So it remains to be seen whether, of course, he'll be calling upon Neto to deputise for Ter Stegen if he does go through that surgery, and how long that would keep him out for. But just to keep you updated there on Ter Stegen, he does have some thigh problems, he does have an issue. It's not serious right now, but of course the club and the player want to have surgery to make sure everything is fine. And from one absolutely key player to another, from Ter Stegen to the future of Lionel Messi, because you may have heard in the media over the past few days a few murmurings there linking in with Inter Milan, a few reports about Messi's father being in Italy, and we've heard it all before. Messi himself has come out and denied this on several occasions in the past. Messi himself has denied any links to Inter, but it was reported basically a few days ago that Lionel Messi's father, who of course acts as well as his agent, he was in Milan, and reports were saying that he was there to negotiate a possible Inter move. Now, this is a perfect example in the media of adding 2 and 2 and making 9, because this honestly does not correlate in the slightest. That is not what happened. What's happening here is basically Messi's father is indeed in Italy, but just because he's in Milan doesn't mean that he's negotiating. He's actually there due to tax reasons. Apparently he's actually buying a property there in Italy, but that is nothing to do with Messi's future, and we have to make that absolutely clear. So on Messi, do not panic. He's not going to Inter. No negotiations are taking place. Everything is absolutely fine. And I also want to clarify with regard to Xavi Hernandez. A few of you this morning may have heard that he's tested positive for COVID-19. He does have the coronavirus, and that is true. But I just want to say he's in good condition, he's recovering well, and he should be absolutely fine. So just there to put your minds at ease, Xavi is going to be okay, and he is going to be ready to come to Barcelona in the near future. But I do want to talk here about Emerson, because once again, on the subject of Milan, again yesterday in Milan, there was an interesting operation, because apparently Emerson's agent was in Milan to discuss there a move to the club, and that was a meeting there that apparently lasted for over 1.5 hours there. They were in that meeting there thrashing out terms. Apparently things on a personal level were going quite well, with AC Milan very interested, as we said before, with signing Emerson this summer. However, I just want to say there, it should be noted that Emerson also has the same agent as Espanyol midfielder Marc Roca, who AC Milan also have a strong interest in. So I just want to make that clear there, that it may not have been all regarding Emerson, but either way, there is definitely interest there. And also, as we said before, Barcelona will be happy to sell Emerson if a bid arrives for 30 million euros. And as we said before as well, a big chunk of that fee would be straight on its way to Real Betis. Reports now saying that Barcelona would actually take home around half of that transfer fee. So you sell him there for 30 million. On the face of it, that looks like an okay deal, nothing too crazy. But then you're actually saying, well, Barcelona are going to take home 15 of that. That looks awful. That's not a good deal in the slightest there. And again, it's why rushing into this deal, rushing into this operation, it just doesn't make sense to me. Luckily for us, Milan are still trying to negotiate. Nothing at all has been agreed between the two clubs. They remain quite far apart in their valuation. Milan are trying to negotiate something cheaper. Barcelona are not going with that right now, but it does seem as though Milan do have serious interest in Emerson, and this is a story that may not go away. And that does indeed bring us swiftly on to another exit rumour, which also will not go away. And that's when it comes to Jean-Claire Todibo, who according to MD right now, who are usually reliable in these sort of things when it comes to players on their way out from the club, MD are usually very, very well informed. Todibo is well aware that his future lies outside of Barcelona. Apparently he's been informed of that decision now for quite some time, and with Barcelona reportedly holding out, according to MD, for 25 million euros to sanction his sale, and the only deal still to finalise is exactly which club he ends up joining this summer. Right now there has been interest in the Premier League. In the past, Everton have showed a real interest in him under Carlo Ancelotti, but more recently it's interesting there to hear a report coming out about interest there from Rennes, who are going to be next season in the Champions League. They're looking to strengthen their squad. They've got a few extra funds available to them, and apparently they are very, very interested in taking young Jean-Claire Todibo back to Ligue 1, which I think personally would be a very, very good move for Todibo. But as we've said before, it's another deal for a young, talented player that it just seems as though the Barca board are just seeing a bit of money and they're just snatching at it. It may or may not turn out to be a good deal, but at least right now, it just looks like desperation. It just looks as though we're looking around, looking at these young talents, thinking, right, where can we get the money from again? And it's this bad planning, it's this poor planning, which has us again in this situation. But I want to talk here, moving on there away from players. I want to actually talk here about something going on in the boardroom at Barcelona, because obviously we're talking here about some questionable deals, we're talking about some strange decisions, and I want to bring you on to a very interesting question. You know that I ask you guys the questions quite frequently. I always look to answer them when possible, and this right here was a question that I received, and it is a good one, and it's very simple. What do you think about Eric Abidal? And this is a question that I do get quite a lot, and I think among the Barcelona fan base, it is quite divided upon how people see him, how they've seen him in his role, because it's tough. Because there's no denying that as a player, of course, and as a person, we have fond memories of Eric Abidal in a Barcelona shirt. The quality he brought to our team, the consistency he brought there at left back, and of course the story behind his comeback, lifting the Champions League trophy in 2011. That's an unbelievable memory that none of us will ever forget. But aside from that career as a player, in his role as the sporting director, has the perception now of Eric Abidal, has it been changed? Has the memory of him just been tainted a little bit? And I would say it has. And it is difficult to say that because, like I said, I do have really fond memories of him. And I'm also going to say it's not easy to work under this board. We've said many, many times that people coming in trying to assert their dominance, trying here to make their own choices under this board, it's not easy. And I'm not saying that Abidal has a perfect job working under Bartomeu. But having said that, when it comes down to the decision making, when it comes down here to the questionable choices of the sporting director, who, remember, is in charge of transfers in, out of the club, also there with regard to coaches as well, I'm honestly not sure that we can say he's done a good job. And I'd actually go even further than that, not just talking about Abidal here, but I would actually go on and say that when you're talking about roles at boardroom level, at the biggest clubs in the world, when you need people in there who really know what they're doing, I would honestly say right now, can we continue here to trust in just former players? Just players who used to play here, so therefore they make a good sporting director, they make a good person there on the board. Is that particularly true? I'm not sure that it is. Because in that role, you need to have an eye for talent. You need to have their good connections within the game. You need to understand the team's needs, and you need to be able to communicate well with the coaching staff. Can Abidal do any of those things? Has he ever proven that he can do those things? I'm not so sure. And that's what I mean about just taking there a former player, throwing him into that job. Is he qualified for it? Is he somebody there who's actually set up to succeed in that role? I'm not so sure. I think he was brought in by the club, by Bartomeu in particular, to make himself look good. We all know about the way that Abidal left the club in controversial circumstances. I think Bartomeu here has tried to bring him back to make himself look as though, you know what, we've resolved things, everything's fine now. And I don't really believe that Abidal was ever in a position to succeed at this level. And that's the problem right now. And of course it will impact our transfer decisions. But I do want to move on now, guys, to something much, much more positive, because as we know, the board's time at the club, without question, is coming to an end in 2021. That is definitely happening. It cannot be avoided, and we are all very, very excited about that. And I want to show you here, I said on Twitter yesterday, this right here is the best cover I have seen on a Spanish daily newspaper in a long, long time. The big headline there is Operation Renewal, and it basically highlights highlights there the nucleus of young players, young, talented players that Barcelona have right now at their disposal, either this season, going into next season, looking further above, and it basically says this is the core of the team that Barcelona now are going to work with in the coming years, and it is exciting, because you look at the players there on that list. Admittedly, Eric Garcia, he's not a Barca player yet. Sports are being very, very optimistic on that one, but you've got Ansu Fati, front and central, you've got Ronald Araujo, you've got Ricky Puig, you've got Trincao joining this summer, Frenkie de Jong, of course, you've got more senior players there like Ousmane Dembele, Clement Longley, you've got Pedri, Carlos Alenia apparently is going to be given a chance to return to Barcelona, you've got Collado, and there's so many players there, even some that haven't made the cover, that we spoke about in yesterday's video from Barcelona B, and I just think there is a real positive energy right now looking at what we've got. Because it's often a misconception that Barcelona are going down a road of no return, that there's no good young players in the club, that La Masia is dead, but like I said yesterday, there is so much talent there in the youth ranks, and we do have some really good, really exciting young players coming through, and in 2021, we are going to see these given authority, given a real prominence in the team, as Barcelona will be entering a brand new era. And honestly, guys, there is reason to be optimistic, and there is reason to be excited. Finally though, today guys, of course I have to draw your attention to tomorrow's final, 8 PM local time in Spain. It's going to be Barcelona B against Sabadell in the Segunda B playoff final. They are 90 minutes away from a return to the Segunda division, which would be an incredible achievement there for Garcia, Pimienta and his players, and I cannot wait for the game. I will be posting something after the game. I hope that it's a really positive video celebrating the success of Barca B. And of course, during the game, I really do invite you, and I really do hope you'll join me there in the Flick live chat. We're going to be doing lots of stuff before the game. We're going to be talking about the lineup. We're going to be talking about the game itself. I'm also going to be posting there some links in the chat to make sure that you guys can be watching the game. And of course, during the game, much like last time, it's going to be good. There's going to be lots of exciting conversation going on during the 90 minutes, and hopefully, we are all going to be celebrating. Join me there, and many others in the Barcelona TalkFCB Flick chat. I'll see you there, and I will see you tomorrow for that video. Come on, Barca B, get the job done. Thanks as always, guys, for watching. I really do appreciate your support. Please do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on all the news we have discussed in today's video. I'll see you soon with plenty more to come. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.